13 games before last night, the Warriors began starting Draymond Green as their full-time five, and since making the move, they had gone 10-3. The idea of these lineups is to have more speed and skill on the court, sacrificing interior presence to make more aggressive defensive rotations, and running and gunning with some added space on offense. Here's the problem though, the Nuggets are huge, so when they ran into a front court featuring Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic, that led to quite the interesting clash of styles. You could see Denver's size advantage right away. Jokic hits Murray on a cut, and with a simple extra pass, Aaron Gordon has no trouble finishing at the rim. But just as easily as you could see Denver's size advantage, you could see Golden State's speed advantage, as Kuminga beats everyone down the floor for a free 2 points. I'm not just talking about offense though. Draymond is able to really overplay the paint as a helper because he's quick enough to recover to Jokic on a closeout, while staying in front of the ball on a drive. That agility clearly bothers Jokic's ability to attack in space, but then there's nobody to keep Aaron Gordon off the glass, securing a second chance opportunity and drawing a foul. Knowing that Draymond can keep up in space, next time Jokic gets the ball, it's on the block. The former Defensive Player of the Year is giving up about 6 inches and 50 pounds, so even though the refs let him get away with some illegal contact, it's not enough to stop Joker. The Warriors come right back though. Notice how with Draymond at the 5, Jokic is spaced to the top of the key, while the other 4 are all threats to shoot. That means when Porter Jr. gets stuck on a screen, Wiggins is left with an easy cut and finish. Here's another example. Steph flies off a screen and draws 2 to the ball, then hits Wiggins, who now has a 2-on-1 advantage. With the basic read to Podziemski, they've got an open layup, although the Nuggets catch a break. They won't catch a second one though. Notice how Jokic is switched onto Wiggins. Not exactly an ideal matchup, meaning he easily gets to the paint and hits Podziemski on another cut, this time for 2 points. Those matchup issues go both ways though, because while all of that is happening, Jokic is busy punishing Draymond in the post. Dre does a great job of holding his ground, but doesn't have enough size to contest a fadeaway jumper. So next time he sets up with his back to the basket, instead of leaving Dre one-on-one, Klay's gonna dig from up top. All that does is leave Michael Porter Jr. as he drills a 3. Here it is again. Jokic starts on that elbow, except this time to set up a handoff with Porter, who's gonna drive into a floater. Once again, that size difference leads to an offensive rebound and easy putback. After about 7 minutes of this back and forth, the Warriors found themselves with a 20-17 lead, and this is when Kevon Looney would enter the game. Looney's a lot bigger than Draymond, so when Jokic tries to take him one-on-one, he's not able to go over the top nearly as easily. As a result, he instead tries to win with agility, starting his attack from a bit further and absolutely shredding him with a spin move on his way to a layup. He also went back to operating out in space. Looney's obviously going to struggle getting around a down screen, which leaves Joker with more than enough room to fire off a 3. This time he actually initiates from the perimeter. Brown's cut draws a tag from Wiggins on the weak side, resulting in a perfectly placed skip pass right into the hands of Peyton Watson for 3 more. Denver's offense was rolling. They didn't have any trouble scoring early on. Unfortunately for them, Klay Thompson was in one of those modes. It started with him drawing a hard closeout and sidestepping into a wide open 3. For most of this quarter, they just had him flying around screens all over the court. This time it's a pin down moving to his left for another jumper from up top. And here's a real similar action, except moving to his right, and there's not a single shot he wouldn't call a good look. As soon as KCP decided to overplay the 3 and take away his space, he instead rejects the screen and cuts inside the arc before rising up for a mid-range bucket. Klay shot 5 of 7, including 4 of 6 from 3 for 16 first quarter points as the Warriors jumped out to a 6-point lead. After playing the entire first, of course Jokic needed some rest, and the interesting thing about Denver's bench unit is that it's their own version of small ball. They'll throw either Aaron Gordon or Zeke Naji at the 5 and switch every action. So what did the Warriors do? They flipped the script and ran a double big unit of Trace Jackson Davis and Dario Saric. Klay is still taking his threes, but now he's got two centers to clean up on the offensive glass if he misses, and with the defense out of position, they've got a free layup. With a constant mismatch, the Warriors were able to put a ton of pressure on the paint. This time it's a deep steal in transition that draws help from outside, and an extra pass leaves Klay wide open. He's not missing this one. And here's what it looked like when they didn't collapse. You've got Trace going one-on-one with MPJ, and that's just way too easy. As for the other side of things, the non-Jokic offense is already very stagnant, but with two bigs, you've got Saric sliding in front of the rim to take away Jamal Murray's attack, and when he dumps it off, you've got a second center rotating down for a block. During this time, the paint was basically shut off. Anytime the ball got down there, it was met by tons of size, forcing a weaker shooter like Watson to live behind the arc. Here's another example. Jamal tries to drive but runs into a wall, and the shot they end up with is a long two from Watson. He misses, and Brown's actually able to come up with a rebound, but when he tries to put it back up, he gets denied. The Warriors won these minutes 15-8, turning a 6-point lead into a 13-point by the time Jokic checked back in with just under 7 to go. That of course triggered Steve Kerr to go back to small ball and right back to running and gunning with pace. At one point, Lester Quinones actually hit a spot-up 3 to put the Warriors up 16. Denver was not rolling over though, and right on cue they started cooking. It started with a pull-up 3 from Jamal in transition, and his shot making in general was a big key to them cutting into the lead. Primarily though, it came as a result of them attacking Golden State's lack of size. Jokic seals off Kuminga down low, and Murray just throws it off the rim so that he can catch it inside, which results in a foul. It wasn't just Jokic. Aaron Gordon also started feasting during this time. He has no trouble getting all the way to the rim against GP2, where he throws it to himself off the glass and sets up an easy tip-in. This time it's going to be a post-up in transition, as he just completely abuses Klay Thompson for 2 points plus a foul. Here's what's interesting though. Denver was actually down 61-47 with 3 minutes to go in the half. It doesn't just take offense to make up that sort of ground, and they locked all the way in. Notice how KCP helps very aggressively to take away any movement going towards the basket before recovering to the perimeter to contest a spot-up 3. The idea here is that once you limit the movement within this offense and force them to isolate, you've won, because that's not what they want to do. The motion stagnates, no screens, no cuts, and all of a sudden the shot quality plummets. Usually when that happens, you start to see a heavy dose of high pick and roll through Steph. But with Jokic at the level and Curry not having his best shooting night, they were able to slow it down. Here it is again. Steph comes off a screen and Jokic jumps out, then when he tries to split down the middle, KCP takes it away. And just like that, we've got a tie game heading into halftime. The third quarter was very much a repeat of everything we've already seen. You've got Jokic taking smaller forwards in the post and making easy use of them. Jamal wanted to get in on the big body action as well, taking Steph in the post and turning into a smooth fadeaway jumper. Aaron Gordon continued to feast around the rim. When MPJ attacks a closeout and dumps it off, you better have a shot blocker in position. Then when Jokic stepped out to the perimeter to try his hand at a 3, Gordon was the first to the ball on the offensive glass, before hitting the big fella on a cut for an easy lay. The Nuggets took complete control, jumping out to a 10-point lead after this transition 3. Oh yeah, it's probably worth noting that was Jokic's 10th assist, giving him a triple-double with 7 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third. That early second half run was again in large part thanks to how good of a job they did stagnating the Warriors' motion offense. Only, there was one key difference this time around. Steph Curry started chefing. It started with this drive and really tough finish over KCP. Next time it's against Gordon. He starts on a drive before stepping back, only to hesitate and start another drive as he gets to the paint for a soft touch finger roll. Of course, driving is the least of your worries when it comes to defending Steph, because if you fall asleep for even a fraction of a second, he's moving into a 3. He had 14 points in the third, and when he gets going, everyone gets going. This one starts with one of those aggressive pick and roll coverages, which he successfully splits. Help comes and he kicks it to an open shooter, and just like that, a 10-point lead has been decimated into a tie. From there, it was very back and forth. Both teams had some good possessions on offense and defense, leading up to this play where Jamal draws a foul to effectively end the quarter. Nuggets lead by 4 heading into the final 12 minutes. This time around, to counter Golden State's double bigs, they threw out both Zeke Naji and Aaron Gordon for a little bit more size. Of course, Gordon isn't a mismatch at all, and with all 3 of Gordon, Porter, and Zeke out there, you've got 3 capable rim protectors. So even without a true big on the floor, there's gonna be some decent resistance in the paint. With that said, they're still a switch-heavy unit, which leads to the occasional mismatch. Like here, Saric finds himself posting up Jamal, and when Gordon slides down to help, that leaves Wiggins open at the top of the key for 3 points. Here it is again. Saric gets the Jamal switch and steals off inside position, drawing help off the catch before dumping it off to Jackson Davis for a big-time dunk. Trace can also be the one starting these plays. Out of the post, the Warriors are going to set up some split action, and Klay finds space, but unfortunately this wasn't the same Klay we saw earlier. He actually didn't score a single time in the second half after that scorching hot start, which played a major role in the offense really slowing down. Luckily, they could fall back on that double big paint protection. Like I said, the Nuggets are pretty stagnant without Jokic, which meant stops for the Dubs. In general, these bench minutes were mostly defense from both sides. They were each able to scrape together a couple buckets, but for the most part there wasn't much scoring, and after 4 minutes it was still a 5-point game. That's when Jokic re-entered, as well as Draymond. Instead of small ball though, they left Jackson Davis on the court with a traditional lineup. With Draymond still controlling the offense, that meant Jokic was in more of a position to make reads. This time it's a flare screen that he jumps for a steal. That creates transition offense going the other way, as he takes it all the way before lobbing it to Naji. The Warriors continued to use Trace as a screener to keep Jokic in the action, and once again he's playing at the level. That leads to a 4-on-3, but Naji plays it about as well as you can, taking away the roll before recovering to contest Draymond at the rim. That missed layup again leads to offense going the other way. This time a pull-up 3 from KCP extends the lead back to 10. About halfway through the fourth, Golden State went back to small ball, so the Nuggets decided it was time to close with their unguardable 2-man game. Jamal puts pressure on the rim before kicking it to Naji, and a simple extra pass leaves Christian Braun on an island for 3. This time you're going to see Draymond play the handoff in a high drop coverage, with the agility to recover and get back in front of Jokic's roll. Just one problem, the size. Even though he plays it perfectly, Joker goes over the top for a bucket. In a last-ditch effort to get a stop, Draymond blitzes off the screen, leaving Jokic in a 4-on-3. Not exactly a great recipe for success. And that one right there was the dagger. Starters get pulled, and the Nuggets end up winning by 16 in a game where they went down by 16 in the second quarter. Leading the charge was Nikola Jokic, who put up 32, 16, and 16. No, that's not a typo. Jamal had himself a game as well, with 27 points on 72% true shooting. But what I'm more focused on are the signals that really highlight the size advantage. Like the fact that Denver's starting frontcourt out-rebounded Golden State's 29-15. Or how Aaron Gordon shot 7 of 7 from inside the arc and was a game-high plus 21. It's worth mentioning that things probably look a little different had Steph not shot 1 of 10 from 3, but still, there's no denying the obvious. The small ball thing has been working for the Warriors, but in specific matchups, like against the defending champions, it might not always be an option. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn my post notifications on to be first on more content. If you're interested in my more in-depth research, make sure to check out my website and social media profiles. You can find those links in the description. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what you thought of this matchup. As always, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.